Hello, welcome to Miemie's Keepsakes. I'm Arnell. I'm so happy to be here again today. I want to share with you these little freebies that's available when you order fabric online from Black Rabbit Fabrics, or if you order some of my slow stitch kits online. The slow stitch kits will be in my Etsy shop as well as in my online shop. On Etsy, the price will be slightly higher, a couple of dollars, because of the Etsy fees. So if you want to save that couple of dollars, order it from my online shop on just my website, Miemie's Keepsakes. I'll have all the information in the description box for the video. So just go see. And then if you want to buy some fabrics from Yvonne, she has wonderful fabric. She has currently, I don't even have all of them here. Currently she has the Kathy Holden fabrics. If you are living in Canada, it's very hard to find them in Canada. This is just the pink and some of the blue fabrics. It's not even all of the kit. It is, if you are doing slow stitching, you need this fabric. Honestly, it is available at the moment. I don't know how much she'll have, but she'll have the Kathy Holden line that's coming out in, I think, October. She'll have that on her shop too. She has lots of Tim Holtz fabrics, and I want to show you this one before we continue. She has some of this one too. So this is a lot like the Tim Holtz new line if you watched that video. So this is on our shop too. This is Kathy Holden, but if you want to order that Tim Holtz new line, I can't remember the name now, I should have, then it's similar to this. Then you can sign up as well with Yvonne or send her an email. That starts, I think, in October as well. Anyway, so what I've done with those, I have just cut up a lot of this fabric with all the, and the whole line is like that. So if you're doing slow stitching, this is the ultimate kind of fabric. And I would, like even that Tim Holtz one, I think that entire line will be amazing for slow stitching once you start fussy cutting your fabric up. Anyway, I thought I'll share that with you if you want, if you're interested in those fabrics. If you live in the US, it would be easy to find. But if you're in Canada, it was very difficult to find the Kathy Holden fabrics, honestly. It was almost impossible. Okay, I'm gonna get my stuff together and then we'll do the open up the kits and do some of this together. We're doing the needlebook today, and this is what you will need to make this book. You will need some thread. I am going to stick to one color, just the white, and some pins, scissors, and a needle. And everything else is pretty much in the kit unless you want to add extra things. Let's see what is in this baggie. Whoops. So in your kit will be 3 buttons and a ticket again from Kathy Holden. I'm not sure if Yvonne still has this fabric. It looks like this. You want to order that because you can see there's a lot of tickets. You do not need a big piece of fabric for that. And then also some lace, and then various sizes of fabric. This one is a red kit. We pretty much did the kits according to color. You just color coordinate it. Then you will have lots of threads. That is totally free as well. A base fabric for your cover, one bigger piece of wadding that will be for your cover as well, and then two smaller pieces for the pages, and they will be sewn in like this. And then you'll have your cover and the base fabric. Let's decide, like we just kind of cut the covers to size, but maybe this one, I think this, it just needs to be a little smaller here, so I'm just going to adjust that to how I like my book. So that's why we gave you a little bit of extra wadding. And then I'm going to cut off a little bit here as well. So that will be the size of my cover. And then I'm going to cut, again, we gave you a bigger piece for the cover. If you want to, you can fold these over. But I don't want to do that. So I'm going to just cut my cover piece to size as well, and just maybe make sure I got this straight. Nothing I do is ever straight, but as straight as I can. And then oh my goodness, these scissors are really bad. But we'll make them work. Oh no, that is a disaster. Just move this down a little bit, because I think I'm just for the side, I am simply going to attach it with blanket stitch. That's my plan, or even just an overcast stitch, because I do like mine a little messy. Okay, I think that is fairly straight. So for now we're gonna put all of that away and just work with this base fabric and start adding some of our reds on here. I am just going to randomly add some red, and what I do recommend would be to make sure that your fabrics overlap really just quite a bit, so you don't have fabrics flapping up, especially when you're doing smaller pieces. Then you don't have to worry about covering, you know, going around each square or each block, because none of these are totally square. Let's just put this one. You'll get lots of threads. It's part of your kit. Let's do this one this way. Maybe I'll have this one go like that. Anyway, so we just keep adding things to cover the whole front base fabric. basically just play around with your fabrics until you find something that is, you know, just looks good. Okay, and then we're going to pin all of this. And I'm not concerned about this being perfect and square, but if you are a quilter and you want things perfect, squared up and all of that, then definitely go ahead and do that. I actually prefer it to be not perfect, but that's just my preference. I'm just using regular sewing thread that you would got my needle out. Regular sewing thread that you would use in your sewing machine. And I'm just going to do an invisible stitch. And you basically make a knot in your thread, like, and then I'm just going, I know it's all red, but for the invisible stitch, there's my thread, and I'm going almost next to it and then out a little bit further. That way I do not have to undo these stitches when I'm done. It's just easy. That's just how I prefer to do it. If you prefer to do just big stitches to just get your fabrics down, then do it. Or if you prefer to go directly into running stitch with the pins sitting there, do that as well. But for me, the pins just it's just very annoying. So I like to just get my fabrics down, and then I can simply sit and do my stitching. I am done basting down my pieces of fabrics. Next step, take the pins out, and what I'm planning to do with this one is to just fill it in here and there with running stitch. And oh, this piece of thread is way too long. I'm going to end up with a lot of... Let's shorten that. If your thread is too long, and even this is a little long, I find that I get a lot of knots while I'm working, so let's not do that. So what I'm going to do is just running stitch, and I am going to simply do some this way, that way, any which way I want to. The other thing I thought about is maybe you do not want to fill in your entire piece with fabric like this. You can always, I'll just use this, just add some pieces on your backing fabric, say something like that. It's just, I'm just putting stuff down. let's say that, and then stitch it on, and then add your accents. Like I say, you can play around with it. There was some lace in the kit, so we put lace down, and then if you have something like the Kathy Holden fabric, you know, you don't have to cover the entire page with fabric. You can definitely just add things a little bit on the fabric. I just want to use as much as possible of the pieces that I have on, and that's why I kind of filled mine in with the red. So let's just start. And now that I don't have any, see, the fabric isn't stitched on totally, but it makes it easy to do running stitch because I don't have to worry about the pins, and that's why I like doing that invisible stitch there. Running stitch, and I am just using a perle cotton. That one is number 8. And what I try to do is I try to get the stitch to catch that fabric ends just to keep them down and keep them secure. It won't always work out that you catch that stitch, but that piece of fabric with your stitching, but if you can at least a couple of times, like here I won't be able to catch it, that's fine, because maybe when I come back I'll be able to catch it. And maybe I'm thinking I'll just do one more stitch here and then go in from behind, and I'm just pulling on the fabric just to make sure it doesn't pucker too much. The tension is more or less the same, and see, now I can catch that edge there. Okay. And I am just going to do a couple of rows this way, a couple of rows that way. That one is really big. I don't know what I did there. Let's take that out and see. Now I feel like my tension is a bit too tight. Let me just, and you do not have to fill the whole thing in with stitching either. You can add little things, cut out flowers from fabrics, vintage doilies. You know, there's lots of things that you can add on to your slow stitch project. I have seen people sew on little pieces of twigs and washers, you know, those metal washers that they use. You know, really weird things. You don't have to keep it just fabric. You can definitely do whatever you want to. There's no rules. The cover is, I've done the stitching that I wanted to do on here, and as you can see, I just did running stitch randomly to give it some texture. And so now we can start adding the other things that were in the kit. It was this ticket, we had the doily and some lace. I might add, oh, and the buttons, and I might add a couple more things that to my cover than what I have in the kit. Not sure if I want the doily to kind of, yeah, I do like that. The doily come around. I might do that. Let's put it on there while I have it on the right spot. And I can sew that on. And then the 3 buttons, I don't necessarily, this one is very big. I might just do 2, only 2 over here. Because I have a spot here, oh, maybe I should do the ticket there, because that spot I didn't overlap the fabric enough, and as you can see the white in there, so make sure you overlap your fabrics enough. But I might fix that by putting the ticket up there or down there, and just this do, well, maybe then I have too many things all in one spot. I have the lace. This lace is very big. I could, oh, it's like a double lace. I could maybe cut it smaller and add a piece hanging off my book like that. And even this one on here a little deeper in, so and maybe have the buttons on top of the lace or beside the lace, and then I think what I want is the ticket to kind of overlap there. So I do feel that I do not have like a focal point for the front of my cover. And I'm also covering all of that stitching, but that's okay. The 2 buttons will go in there, and I'm wondering if just for the front of the cover, because the lace, what I like is the lace is coming to peek through on this side, and on the back the lace will peek out as well. And maybe should I do that, or do I just want it? No, I do want it there. I don't have a lot of stitching there, that's why I think I'm gonna have the doily overlap the, and so this is the pieces you will receive in the kit, but I'm thinking I want to add something to my cover, and I'm wondering if I should do this little bird, but I don't like the white. Let's see what else this Kathy Holden fabric has. To add, that kind of blends in too much. I've already fussy cut all of these. I could do another circle here, and then something, I don't want purple, so let's take the purple stuff out. Blue, this is too big. I think let's just find some, there's so many beautiful images in here, it's hard to choose. Let's see, I have the 3 stamps, but that's an option, but I'm not totally convinced. This is too big. I was thinking about this little house, but is that too big as well? Maybe something like that, or this. Can even have it underneath. House is still the best option here at the moment. that's too big. Most of these are a little too big for what I want on the, so I'm thinking either the house or the, well, here's the options. The house with that on top, or the, maybe something like that, or then I'll use something smaller, but maybe that's too small then. Can't win. Or the bird. Let's see, I'm wondering the bird or the house. I kind of like the house. Okay, let's go with the house and stop thinking. And I'm going to add that as well on there. Yeah, I do like that. Maybe the house a little higher. Something like that. Or do I want, oh, okay, don't even start. Okay, now we'll stick with that. And then on the back, maybe we can just have something small. I mean, I don't need something on the back necessarily, but I just, these are so pretty. Just want to add something. Let's see if we can, it almost feels like that is blending in too much. I don't want to add blue, or I can do a green, but that kind of feels like Christmas. I'm just gonna stick with the butterfly. Okay, so let's do the next step. I need to sit down and add all of this to my book, and I'm thinking I want to do a chain stitch on to get this lace on there, and I might do a chain stitch on both. And let me just thread the needle. I want to do a, maybe I'll just start off of a chain stitch, sew that on there, and it's kind of difficult because now I'm going through a couple of layers. But not impossible. I'm just finishing off this. It was pretty painful. I think it's because I used all 6 strands, and I'm going through quite a bit of fabric, but I love how it looks. I love the fact that this kind of looks very chunky there. So the next thing is to sew the ticket on. So the ticket, because I have the interfacing on the back, it would be fine. It won't fray, and even if it frays a bit, you know, it gives that hand look rough feeling. So I'm just doing what I like to do for these is to actually do blanket stitch with them. I just find it looks a little neater, and it just keeps my piece down better than just an overcast stitch. But you know, you do what works for you, what you like most. You might just prefer an invisible stitch. You can do that as well again on these pieces. I finished decorating my cover, so I did sew on the buttons with some of that pinkish salmony color. I don't know if it was DMC or what. I just got this from the thrift store. I did add the cutouts from Kathy Holden, and maybe I will include one cutout in the kit. And if you decide to add more, then you can maybe buy some of the fabrics for yourself. But let's see. The next thing I need to do is add a backing to my cover, because this is how it looks at the moment, and I just want to back it with something to make it look pretty. Again, now you can add, some of the cutouts again with maybe some of your leftover fabrics and maybe some lace or something to decorate it, and then you can still add needles on these pages. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it as simple as possible, just if there's any beginners to follow that want to just to make it easy to follow along. So then I've decided to use this thread. It is a little darker than the red on my cover because I do want to see some of the stitches here on the edges. I can also decide to do this maybe with a beige, because now you will see the red stitches on the inside cover, but I like that idea, so let's see how it looks, and maybe if I don't like it, then I won't continue with that. Let's just maybe put a couple of, I'm just not gonna, make sure to flip over, maybe I'll pin that lace back as well, so I'm not sewing that onto my cover edge. Just make it a little easier. I do recommend maybe shorter pins. The longer pins definitely interferes sometimes with your stitching, but that's what I have at the moment, so we'll just keep working with that. Just want to make sure do have these smaller white ones. Just a quick pin. Don't have to if you feel confident. Okay, so I have a knot at the end here, and I do think I want to hide my knot and maybe just cut some of the excess off here, because obviously when you start doing like the canvas stitch on here, it kind of shrinks the fabric a little bit, or make it smaller or change the dimension. I'm not worried about squaring anything off. I'm gonna keep this irregular shape. I kind of like it, but I just don't want the whites to peek out from the back, and if there's a little bit, I'm not gonna stress about that either. Okay, so I have a knot here, or maybe I don't. Oh, I cut the knot off. I don't know how I managed to do that, but just make another knot in here on the end of my thread. I'm gonna make a second knot because that one's not very big. To hide my knot, I'm going to put it in between the layers. So this is the red layer. I'm just flipping that over and putting it onto my wadding, and in that way the knot is hidden. You can't see it on that side, you can't see it on this side. And all I'm gonna do is I am going to attach this with blanket stitch. Let's just start it. No, I was thinking maybe I have it attached around my pen. Is the second last stitch, and this would be the last stitch. And so I'm just gonna go in here in between the two layers, and because I have a third layer in there, just going to catch that third layer and my red fabric again, because I'm using the red thread. I'm not going to do this, put a white stitch in there. On the other side here, I think I might just add another stitch in there just to get that white off, and then I'm just gonna do a couple of stitches in between the three layers of fabric, and hope that would keep those last stitches secure. Okay, so let's see. Here's my thread. Next step would be now to clean my inside off of, get rid of all the little pieces of thread that accumulated on the wadding piece of fabric, piece of wadding. Okay, so that is my front cover, little off screen there, front cover and the back cover, and then we'll go back to our 2 pages. Again, you can go around here with maybe blanket stitch just as for a decorative measure, add some laces again or cutouts, or you know, whatever you have at home. And if you don't want to, you do not have to do anything to decorate each individual page. That's not necessary. Just gonna see, I did make my pages, the wadding for the inside pages a little smaller, and I have some cat hair and stuff on here, a little smaller. And I'm going to fold them and just kind of get them together, all the edges, and then put the 2 corners together on each side so they fit, and then 4 corners together. And when you fold them, they might move a little bit again, but it's not that it's slow stitching, it doesn't have to be perfect. Anyway, here, and then the cover, and then you just want to position this in the middle. So just make sure you have your pages the way you like them to sit. So I did make my cover a little bit bigger than my pages, because once I have needles and stuff in here, this will bulk up a little bit more, and then you do need that bit of a extra room here on the cover. And once you're happy that it's in the middle, I'm maybe gonna put a pin in here. That's my middle, and in here, and I am going to sew this straight on to my cover. And so again, now you have to decide, do you want the stitches here to show or here? And I prefer that it won't show as much here, so I'm going to use a red thread again, just because it won't show up as much on the outside. And let's just take 3 strands. If you want to do this with your sewing machine, in slow stitching is basically hands. Most people see it as hand stitching only, but honestly, there's no rules. If you feel like, oh, I'm gonna sew this on with my sewing machine because it will show up less, then you go ahead and do that. Like I say, there's no rules. You can do whatever you feel like. And I think what I'm going to do is, again, hide my knot in between the layers here, and then just go in there, so the knot will be in those layers, you can see them. And then let me just move my pin down a little bit, and then here I am going to secure these with a double stitch just to make sure. And with this, you do want to make sure it looks good on both sides. And again, does it really matter? Okay, so I am going to maybe just do a running stitch, small running stitches. Sew my pages in. edge here I'm going to do a double stitch again. Just to secure my pages in there. Maybe do this one a little farther because I feel like I didn't catch enough there. Okay, so now I want to hide my knot again. I'm gonna go in, come out. I'm in between all those, the 3 layers of fabric. I'm just kind of going in and making like an invisible little stitch there and back and forth. I can't really make a knot here without it being visible, so I'm just gonna do a couple of invisible stitches in between the 3 layers. And you know, sometimes even that knot on the outside just gives your creation another little bit of hand sewn effect. And there is your needle book. It is done, ready to go. So let's just do a quick flip through of our needle book. We started with the kit with all just the little pieces of fabric. I still have small pieces left that I can use to decorate. You know, even if you just add a little piece of red, that's a nice small piece here on the corner with some lace or a cutout, that decorates your page as well. Anyway, that I'll leave up to you. So let's do a quick flip through. So this is our front cover that we started with all whatever the little pieces that's in the kit, a doily, lace, some buttons, and a ticket. And I will put a cutout, one cutout in the kit as well for you to play with. And then in here you can add pockets or more detail, like I said, and then you have so you can put needles here, maybe even on both sides here. So you have lots of room to add things to your needle book. And then that is the back cover. It looks like if you say you're making a needle book, it sounds like a quick and it's an easy project, but if you're doing it using slow stitching, then it takes a little while. I won't lie to you and say, hey, this is a 20-minute project, because it definitely is not. But the idea of slow stitching is to sit down, enjoy the process of stitching, and just relax. It's just fun. So thank you for joining me today. Please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and leave a comment. And if you receive this kit in the mail and make the needle book, please post photos on my Facebook group page for Miemie's Keepsakes. I will have that all in the description, as well as all the Black Rabbit information. If you want to order some of this fabric, you will receive a kit for free, as well as if you order some of my slow stitch kits in my shop, one of these, this kit or the slow stitch or the snippet roll kit will be included for free as a small gift, thank you gift. Thank you for joining, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.